Thank you, everybody, for joining the very first training for Tango. The OVCR's office is very committed to research and therefore to the participant payments that we are trying to set up the various platforms. This could not have happened without the collaborative effort of the Vice Chancellor's Office for Research, the Office of Sponsor Programs and Finance, and especially cash management. Do remember that while the BOA cards went away, there was an interim pause, and we thank you for your patience. We are going to be holding additional training sessions for all those that were unable to make one of the 4 that are held this week. I'm going to now turn it over to Brett Kinney. Brett is, of course, from Accounting Services as a cash manager, and then he will introduce Laura Shaw from Tango, and we will take it on from there. And a sincere thanks for attending, and I will turn it over to Brett.
Hey, Sweeney, thank you very much for that introduction. OSP and Finance and Operations has been meeting since the inception of the Bank of America prepaid card system, and we've decided to form a study subject payment committee to, whenever we learned Bank of America was going away, to analyze other platforms that we could use so UNC Chapel Hill can continue our critical research. So just want to take a moment to thank all the folks that are involved on that study subject payment committee, with Ashwini, Ben Wright, Stacy Barca, Tracy Lemming, Brooke O'Neill, Stacy Masters, as well as myself. And also a very special thanks to other folks. It definitely takes way more than 2 people to tango, and Amanda Chang and Christine Shia have been phenomenal in their support, as well as Samantha Thompson and Gary Wilhelm. This couldn't have happened without them. And again, go ahead, if you have questions, put that in the Q&A. If you're experiencing any technical difficulties, put that in the chat. With Bank of America, that was part of the state of North Carolina's electronic fund transfer contract. And when we were evaluating different platforms, Bank of America made it known that they were on the state contract to utilize for prepaid cards. When we unveiled the prepaid card program, we said that we were bringing 1960s payment technology to you today. A couple of years later, Bank of America made a business decision to get out of the prepaid card space. They wanted to focus on new emerging technologies like digital disbursements. So we looked at different platforms that we could use, and a couple of things that we needed was a platform that would allow us to customize the platform, allow us to put budget controls down to the project level, and allow for ease of reporting. So I'm very happy to say that we are now, instead of bringing 1960s payment technology to you today, we're now bringing probably late 2000s, early 2010s, 2020 technology to you today with Tango cards, or a little more with it. We picked the study subject committee, picked Tango because it was founded in 2009. They offer 2 different platforms. So there's the non-regulated prepaid card products, which are governed by different retail brands, and they have regulated prepaid cards such as Visa and MasterCard. So we can send electronic rewards as well as physical rewards, though Tango's primary business is electronic gift cards. Tango, as I said, does have a physical gift card option, which is accessed via a share file, and we'll let Laura take that. So now, without further ado, I will stop the presentation, hand this over to Laura Shaw so she can give you all a tour of the Tango platform.
Thanks so much, Brett. And today we will just focus on one particular aspect of the research incentive we'll be powering for you and your teams, and we're so excited to be doing that. Brett mentioned the share file method. Today we won't go over that, but Brooke and team have been creating an incredible manual for all of you to use. Any question that you might have about how to use Tango's rewards, about how to best match up your program with the reward that works best for you, all of that information will be available in the manual that you'll have access to. So today, even though I'm kind of doing a quick version of just one particular style of sending rewards, you have access to an absolute wealth of information. And I'm going to try my best to keep an eye on the Q&A here. I know Brooke is on that as well. And Brooke, please feel free to kind of jump in at any point if there is a key detail that would be helpful to add from your perspective as I'm demoing. So I'm going to share my screen here. All right. So hopefully you are seeing the UNC Chapel Hill Tango portal. This is where you will log in to your Tango account. You will be invited to your Tango account once, as Brett and Ashwini sort of alluded and gave some specific details about. Once you've completed the training and are provided with all of the details that you need, you'll be invited to the portal. And this is what you'll see when you log into your portal. For your reference, when you come into the portal, you will be a user that has specific permissions based on which programs you are involved with and what your role is in those programs. So when you come into your user settings, you may be able to see other users that have access to your programs, or depending on what your role is in the program, you may not have access to that. And perhaps you'll solely have access to send rewards, which we'll get to momentarily. Additionally, you may have access to see just the one account that you are a part of, or if you are a program manager with access to multiple different programs, you will have the correct permissions to be able to have access to any of the research programs that you're involved in. So I'm gonna just pause right there, see if there are any particular questions about the portal itself or the type of access that you might have.
One question that I actually do not know the answer to,
Great.
and that is, can Tango be used internationally?
Yes, Tango is available internationally. We have reward links. That's our proprietary choice product. So soon we're going to show you the type of reward that you'll have access to here in the portal. It's a choice card. It's a gift card that just really many gift cards in one. Currently, what we have available for UNC, and I will actually just jump over to our Send Rewards tab right now. So when you sign into your portal, you'll first see your team settings. And when the time comes for you to send rewards, you'll click the Send Rewards tab here in the left side navigation bar. Right now, you have 2 rewards that are in USD, and our rewards are country and currency specific. So right now, the rewards you have are available only for the United States. However, Brooke, yes, we have rewards available across the planet. So depending on whether you have research recipients who need rewards, say in the UK, other countries in Europe, countries in South America, Central America, Asia, we do have reward links, or those many gift cards in one gift card. We have those for countries across the globe. So I'm going to check in with Brooke after this, and we can just make sure that all of your teams know what might be available for you, and they can help make sure that you have the rewards that you need. Great question. Okay, so continuing on here. When you are ready to send a reward from the Tango portal, and I want to kind of specify when the Tango portal will work best for you. If you have a project where your recipients have email addresses and they can receive digital rewards, this is the perfect use case for that. So for your projects where either you're working with someone one-on-one and you're able to email them a reward right there in that meeting together, the Tango portal is great for that. Or if you had a larger group of research participants in a project and you needed to send out a large amount of digital rewards to recipients who all have email addresses, the Tango portal is great for that as well. We're going to go over those 2 different types of sending rewards right now. So the first type of sending rewards is great for if you have a research participant and you're with them right then, and you would like to email them a digital reward on the spot. You will sign into your portal, click Send Rewards, and it will take you to this page. And I want to clarify, Brett had mentioned using the share file method for prepaid cards. Prepaid cards are not available in the portal, and my teams are hard at work on this. We hope to have an update soon. Our teams are hoping to change the name of this card so that it makes that clear that this is not available for portal sending. This is a card that many of our Tango clients use, and so it's just taking us a while to determine the best language to use. But to clarify, when you come into the portal, you will not be sending prepaid cards from here. You will be sending either full UNC Chapel Hill rewards, which is a larger catalog, a lot of gift cards in over 100 of our top retail restaurant experience gift cards, or select UNC Chapel Hill rewards, which is a much smaller sort of curated gift card option list. And again, these will all be in the manual. And then as Brooke and I just sort of were discussing, if international gift cards are needed, those will show up here as well. To send rewards to a single recipient right when you're together, click on the reward you want to send. So I'm going to click on Select UNC Chapel Hill Rewards. This will take you to a rewards and recipients page. Here's where you can make sure that you're sending the reward you would like to send. You can view the brands by clicking View Brands Recipients Can Pick From. We're in our Select UNC Chapel Hill Rewards, which has a smaller, more curated list that does include a digital MasterCard prepaid card USD. So recipients will have an option to redeem for a digital prepaid card if you send them either the Select UNC Chapel Hill Rewards or the full UNC Chapel Hill Rewards. Okay, you'll be using your UNC master email template. And when you come to add the number of recipients, you can use this method for as many recipients as you need. If you're doing more than 3 or 4, I recommend using our other bulk method. We'll go over that shortly. This method is great for single or 1 to 2 rewards at a time. You'll begin by putting in the reward amount. If you have multiple recipients who are receiving different amounts, you can tick this box to put in the correct amount per recipient. All right. Next up, you'll need to complete the required fields as follows. So first up, this field requests a first name and a last name. This is all in the manual, but I want to go over with you some specifics that your team has figured out so that you and your project teams can put the information here that's most helpful and appropriate for you. So I know this field is required, but it does not have to be an actual first name for your research participant. UNC does have an 1179 exemption that gives permission for you to use for real first and last names, but your department will determine the details that you'll include here in the Tango portal. It will be up to you and your department. You can include real first and last names. You can include the word participant. You can include any other sort of key detail that you would like to hear. Additionally, when you're including, say, the participant first name, and if you decide to just use participant, there is an additional required field here. It's listed as participant identifier code. You and your department are going to determine what's best for you to include here as well. And your teams had sort of chatted about some potential options for this required field. Since it is required, you will need to determine something to put here, but you have some options for what's best for you and your department. I'm just referencing my notes here. If you have a participant identifier code for that individual participant, you can include that here. If, say, you have a project ID, if you have a sponsored project with an ID, you could put the project ID. So say the project ID with a hyphen, and then the identifier or code for that unique research participant. If you have a non-sponsored project without an ID, you can use an abbreviated form of, say, project name hyphen participant ID or code, some sort of abbreviated version of that, whatever's best for your teams. But the first name field is required and the participant ID code field is required. Okay, awesome. So I'm going to pop in just a couple of unique details here. The final item that is required is the email address for the recipient. So again, these order methods in the portal are best for recipients who have digital access to email. Maybe they have a smartphone, maybe they have a laptop at home. So here's where they'll put in their email address. Once you have reward amount, first name field, email address field, and participant identifier code field filled in, you'll be able to proceed to checkout. When you click proceed to checkout, you can either go to the cart or you can proceed to check out all items. I typically recommend going to the cart, and it looks like I maybe had some leftover full UNC Chapel Hill rewards here from a previous demo. Highly recommend you always go to the shopping cart first to check and make sure that you're sending exactly what you meant to send. Here you can view by the brands, or you can view by the total number of recipients, and that would line them up like this for you. This is a great place to check and make sure that you have dotted all of your I's, crossed all of your T's, that the reward amounts are correct, and that you can even preview on screen your email template. Okay, and I'm actually going to delete all of these and show you our second option. The option we just went over is great for if you're sending 1, maybe 2 to 3 rewards at a time. Quite intuitive. You simply click on the reward itself and type in those recipient details, those research participant details. We also have a bulk order method. This order method is great if you have upwards of 5 recipients. To do an upload with our bulk template, first click upload bulk order and download the bulk template that we already have ready for you here. Click email delivery, and then open up the spreadsheet here on your device. Zoom in here so you can see this a little bit better. All right, lovely. The spreadsheet has pretty much all of the same information that we just put in using that portal method, but we'll just kind of go over everything, get you familiar with the spreadsheet itself. All of these dark brown fields are required. First up, we need to know what email template you'd like to use. Email template ID, or ETID for short. This tells us which template you're using for that email delivery of the reward. Click the 4th tab, spreadsheet, the ETID key, and select your UNC master template. I'm going to copy this and paste it here in my spreadsheet. You can drag down as many rows as you need. Just please make sure if you're doing the drag to copy method like I just did, sometimes it wants to fill in a series. So you want to make sure you copy those cells so that all of those ETIDs are the same. Next up, recipient email is required just like in the original method that we went over. Please make sure there are no extra spaces before or after the email addresses here in the spreadsheet. And I know this is in the manual, and Brooke, I know you're on the Q&A here, but I just want to touch on the email addresses being HIPAA protected. Tango is absolutely committed, and we've provided our security compliance certifications. We do have our ISO certification as of 2023. We make sure to uphold the absolute utmost security standards. So we do not store email addresses other than what you're seeing in your system. And we do not provide access to those email addresses to anyone outside of your teams. And more on that in the manual. All right, these following fields are the required fields that we went over in the standard method. So you have your recipient first name. And again, you can use real first and last names. You can use the word participant. It's up to you and your department. As you can see here, the recipient last name is optional, just like in our first order method. The UTID is required. This stands for Unique Tango ID. It's the reward. So in that original method, we clicked on the reward we wanted. In the spreadsheet, we just have to use a Unique Tango ID or a UTID. So I'm going to zoom in here. As a reminder, we are not sending the plastic Visa prepaid cards here in the portal. And in fact, if you do try to do that, no rewards will be sent. There's a completely different method for that. So, and this is in the manual, but when you come to select the reward that you're sending, you're going to choose from your full UNC Chapel Hill rewards or your select UNC Chapel Hill rewards. Or if down the road we add some international rewards, those will populate here when you download a fresh version of your bulk upload method. All right, so I'm going to copy the select UNC Chapel Hill rewards UTID. It's always going to be an alphanumeric code that looks just like this in the first column here under UTID. Let's paste that into your order. And again, if it wants to fill in a series, just make sure you copy those cells. All right. Now you have two additional required fields, the reward amount, and I know this says customer notes optional. We don't have the capacity. Our engineers don't have the option to customize each downloadable spreadsheet for UNC. The spreadsheet that you downloaded is the same version, albeit with your UTIDs and ETIDs. So we aren't able to list here that this is actually that same required field for participant ID/code that you saw in the first method. So this is a required field. And if you do try to upload your spreadsheet without it, you'll get a really clear error message that says participant code/ID needs to be input before you can upload this order. All right, so let's put in our reward amounts, and you can put in the same reward amount or different reward amounts for each of your research participants here if needed. And again, this is our required participant ID code field. So again, you and your departments are determining what to put here. Could be that if you have a sponsored project, you're including the project code hyphen participant ID, or if it's non-sponsored, you may be using some abbreviated version of the project name with the participant ID. So let's see. So once you have all of those details, you're going to leave all of the following columns blank. So you're not completing any of those additional columns. You are stopping once you get to the customer notes field. That will be the last column that you complete. Once that is complete, you'll save your spreadsheet. I recommend using a unique name that includes the date. That way, what you have on your devices will match what Tango has in your portal, so that you'll always have the same information available in both places. Once you've saved that spreadsheet with a unique name, come back to the exact same spot where you just were. So again, we're in our Send Rewards tab on the left side, and we clicked upload bulk order. Now that you have the completed spreadsheet, you can select the file or drag and drop it right in. So I'm going to select our file here, the UNC demo that we just completed, and open it. It should take no more than a minute to upload and validate. So if you're seeing that buffering screen for more than a minute, I recommend stopping, refreshing, clearing your cache. Sometimes does the trick, but let us know if you're having any issues. Let your teams know if you're having any issues placing rewards. And this will look familiar. This is our shopping cart again. If you had items in the shopping cart and you uploaded a bulk spreadsheet, it will override what was already in the cart. So anything that was in the cart before this will now be gone. And only the items that were in the spreadsheet are going to populate here. Shopping cart, great place again. Please triple check and make sure that you have the email addresses typed correctly, that your total reward amount matches what you were hoping to send today, that the rewards themselves are the correct rewards. If you notice either an error or something that needs to be changed, I actually recommend deleting all from here and making the fixes in your spreadsheet itself. Oh, excuse me, I must have closed our spreadsheet. Go ahead, we're going to see that spreadsheet momentarily. Go ahead and make any fixes in the spreadsheet itself so that, again, what you have on your device matches what you have here in the Tango portal. Okay, once everything looks good, you'll go to checkout. You will make sure you're in the correct account. Again, some of you will have access to multiple accounts. So here's where you can be sure that you are in the correct account. And if you need to switch accounts, if you click this question mark here, it lets you know that the account switcher is located in the menu on the left side of the screen. So you can always switch accounts by clicking parent account, scrolling through, or if you want to type into this search bar, you'll be able to find the account that you're looking for there as well and can switch to that particular account. All right. One final optional spot for you and your department to include any notes. There's this additional order information section here. So this is a great spot if you and your department have notes for the entire order that you're placing here. Any key details that you all wanted to note, you can feel free to use this PO number field or the order notes field. And all of these notes field, the participant ID code required field in your order, as well as these two fields, are all internal. So you are going to be able to see those fields, you and your teams. Recipients do not see these. All right, finally, the order summary, great place to just do a final confirmation that everything looks just the way that you wanted, and then you will be able to click place order here. I'm not able to because I'm in emulation, so I'm actually going to stop my share just for a moment and pull up my sort of play account and show you what it looks like as soon as you click place order. Let me share my screen once more here. All right, as soon as you click place order, it will bring you to a screen that looks like this. However, all of these order statuses will be pending to start. So you'll see that an order status, right when you click place order, it will go into our orders queue for processing. Depending on the size of your order and the sheer volume of orders that we're receiving, the maximum amount of time that it would take for your order to process is 1 business day. It is typically quite quick, particularly for smaller orders like, say, single rewards, a handful of rewards, maybe up to a few hundred. Those will come through quite quickly, probably within a matter of minutes, potentially a couple of hours. So let us know if an order that you've placed has not been processed within 1 business day, and we will be able to look into that for you. So once statuses have changed from pending, you'll be able to see if the rewards have been delivered or if they have bounced or not delivered. Either way, you can dig in a little deeper by clicking on the line item itself. this will open up all of that individual research participants' reward details for that single reward that they just received. You can see the details here, including the total amount that was charged from your account, which I didn't note that yet. Funds are deducted from your account as soon as orders are placed. You can sort of envision it like you're handing a gift card to your recipient, right? It's out of your hands, the funds have been deducted, and then it becomes that research participants, they own it now, and it's theirs to do with what they would like. And you'll find that some recipients like to spend their reward value right away, and others like to save it for a rainy day. The UNC reward links, all of our reward links globally, do not expire. And you can see that history by clicking on the History tab when you've clicked into an individual line item. You can see if I scroll down to the bottom here, it shows when that order was processed and sent, when it was successfully delivered. If it's not able to be delivered and say you're seeing a bounce status here, you can resend the reward. You can resend the UNC reward link by clicking resend here. Perhaps it was the email address that was the problem. You can correct the email address here and click resend reward email. Or if it wasn't an email issue, but your research participant lets you know they didn't get it, you can resend it to the same email address. It's the exact same reward. It's not sending a new reward. It just re-delivers the email that has the same reward. All right, and then more recently, you will be able to see here which particular gift card those research participants choose. So you can see this was redeemed for an REI gift card for the full value. Research participants can choose one single gift card, or they can split up their value between different gift cards. Once they've redeemed for a brand merchant gift card, you can resend that as well. So if they say, oh, I redeemed it for a Target gift card, but I think I must have accidentally deleted it, you can resend that back to them as well. All right. And the final thing that I wanted to go over with you today, along with seeing order history here right in the portal in our orders tab, you can also generate order history reports in spreadsheet format a couple of different ways. So first, from the portal itself, you can go through by line ID and see each of these line IDs in your order, in your orders tab. If you go through your line items, there we go. Once you're in your line items, this shows all of your individual orders. And depending on your permissions, you might be able to see just your orders that you've placed, or you might be able to see all of the orders for your projects. And you can select some specific details. Say you want to show the rewards that were not delivered. You can select that email status and you can download this to spreadsheet format, either in CSV or Excel. You can also search by line item status, reward status, and the date issued. So if you need to search by a specific date that you sent rewards and just download that history, you can use this date issued line item here and download that. Another great way to do that is with our reports tab. If you go to your reports tab, you can generate an order history report for a specific account that you have access to for a specific start and end date. Recommend giving it a unique name, and then all of your generated reports will live in the generated reports tab here. For your reference, a generated order history report looks like this. So it has a lot of information here, including the order reference ID for that order, shows who created that order and when, the date that it was created. I'm going to scroll over here. Let's see, maybe I need to zoom out a little bit, actually. There we go. If you go over to starting in columns O and forward, you can see the recipient details. You can see what the reward itself was, as well as the value and any line item notes here. So here's where you're going to see that participant ID or code. And that covers everything that I wanted to go over. So I will stop here unless, Brooke, was there anything else that you wanted me to touch on before wrapping up my portion of today?
Yes, please. I just have a few questions. One is there a limit to what can be added to the MasterCard?
Good question. Here in the portal, the MasterCard is a digital option that's within the UNC product. So just putting that out there once more, you will not be sending a standalone. I know that it looked like there was a prepaid MasterCard in there, but you will not be sending a standalone MasterCard. But when recipients receive their UNC Choice Reward card, the minimum value for a MasterCard is $5. So that's the smallest value that a recipient can put on that. There's no maximum.
I have a few more questions that I pulled out.
Great.
Okay. Will there be instructions available for participants who speak languages other than English, such as Spanish?
You know, we have so many customers who have Spanish speaking participants. We have a couple of options, just for you to note, Brooke and team. We would be able to include, say, Spanish instructions right in your UNC Choice Rewards. If you had other languages spoken, we could include those as well. If you had Mandarin or Vietnamese, we are able to assist with that insofar as hard coding instructions. Otherwise, we typically encourage for recipients who speak other languages besides English, there are like Chrome automatic translations. A lot of other softwares are available on both smartphones and tablets and laptops that will just empower users.
So another option is the departments can create their own templates as well. Those were the only questions that kind of popped to the top. I might have a few at the end, but thank you so much, Laura.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
So thank you very much, Laura, for that presentation. That was really, really awesome. So a few of the questions in the Q&A was, how do I start using Tango? So we've created a participant payment website, a Tango website, which has all the information you need. There is a setup and user entitlement form located on that website. There's also the manual that we've talked about. It has all of the information you need and how to use Tango. Everything that Laura demonstrated is in the manual. We have a frequently asked questions part of it. It has explanations as to the different types of rewards. If you're sending a digital reward, we're going to encourage you to send that. We're 22 years into the 21st century. Almost everyone has an email address, so we're going to push you towards the email rewards. But if you need to send a physical reward, there will be some additional training that we'll put out that shows you how to get into the SharePoint share file location to do so. There are some costs involved with the physical cards. So what you're going to do is go to the website. You're going to get a setup form. It's a dynamic form. And as you go in and select your options, different fields will populate. So fill that out, provide the chart field information, your IRB number, all the information that we're going to need, and then submit that to OSP if you're using a contracting grant. If you're using funds other than contracts and grant funds, then you can submit that to finance and operations. Once you receive a final executed form, so just be aware of that, you're going to fill out the form, send it to OSP or finance and operations. We're going to review it, send it back to you. Once you've received that final fully executed form, you're going to go in and create a campus voucher. If you don't know how to do that, please talk to your finance or budget staff. We had learned during the Bank of America prepaid card program that sometimes researchers were submitting advances on funds and sources that they probably should not have, and that some of their department staff were not aware of what they were doing. So we're doing this intentionally to ensure that your finance and budget and business staff are aware of the request. So you're going to then get access to the site, and you can go in and start issuing rewards after the voucher has been submitted and approved. So If you need help, again, there's the website, and go to the manual, and there's the email address. This is what the form looks like. And again, it's a dynamic form. So in the request information, if you're using contracts and grant funds, you're going to click sponsor program. If it's a non-sponsored program, click on that. If it's for a new request, you're asking for funding for the first time, click on new. If it's an existing request and you just need to, let's say, add some new staff to send rewards, go ahead and click on existing. And like I said, Samantha has done an amazing job in creating this dynamic form, and it will populate with new fields. Download the form to your own desktop, and then from there you can start changing the form and inputting IDs and providing the signatures. So what you're then going to do after you've completed the form, you've submitted it to OSP or Finance and Operations, and you've received your form back, you're going to then create a campus voucher or have your finance staff do that for you and attach that form. Once you've submitted a campus voucher, if you're using a 252 fund, it is going to go through to OSP for review. If you're using a fund other than a 252 fund, it's going to go to accounts payable after your department approves it for their review, and then accounting services is going to review that voucher. We're going to go in and entitle staff into the Tango platform, and then we will schedule the voucher to pay. It will be included in a pay cycle. It will be paid to Tango, and then accounting services staff will transfer the funds from the parent account to your project account. So again, your project account is going to be the one that's entitled in the Tango platform. We are going to set up the budget that you've requested in the Tango platform. And the good thing about Tango is if you've asked for $5,000, that's what's available for you to use. You cannot overspend. And then you go into the platform and you send the funds to study subjects. After you send it by the 15th of the next month, you will go in and submit a journal entry to reconcile your advance and move the advance to the study subject expense. So just so you know, if you've not used campus vouchers before, this is what it looks like. You'll go into the campus voucher, put in this information, the Tango card supplier, their supplier ID. The invoice number is going to be the date using the year, month, and day, and then your IRB number. So in that format, please, to put in the invoice. You're going to use the invoice date of today, and then the gross amount that you need. Because we're sending funds to Tango for good cash management practices, we ask that you only request funds that you reasonably expect to disperse over the next 60 days. Again, only request those funds that you reasonably expect to pay to study subjects over the next 60 days. Once you run out of funds, you can request more funds and we can send it to Tango and you can pay more folks. But we do need to earn interest on university money. We cannot be sending too much money to outside entities. That way we can make money off of our money and provide scholarships to students and hire professors and things like that. So it's critical that we do this. You'll put in the gross invoice amount for how much money you need over the next 60 days, taking into account that if you are using the physical cards, that costs, what the amount is you're loading onto the cards, and then a $2 shipping fee to the study subject. If you're having cards sent to a UNC address, it's the amount that you're putting onto the cards, a $2 shipping fee, and then $30 fee to ship it to the university. So it's all in the menu. What you'll do next in the voucher is go into the voucher lines and the category. You're going to select the UNC 4 zeros and then 4. That is for a study subject payment. It will populate with a chart field string. You will need to change the account because it will populate the study subject payment 523-150 general ledger account. You need to change that to either 559-550, which is the new Tango card advance account for contracts and grant funds. If you're using something other than contracts and grant funds, the general ledger account is going to be 119-220. And if you don't know what any of this means, please talk to your accounting staff. They do. Then from there, you are going to click on the Image Now attachments. You're going to attach your fully executed form, right, by clicking on the paperclip, supporting documents. And then again, as I said, your reconciliation. So after you've made a $100 payment to study subjects, You're going to run the reports, as Laura showed, attach that along with a reconciliation form to an intra-unit jot. So let's say in July, you paid $100 to study subject. By the 15th of August, you or your accounting staff or business managers will go in and create that journal entry, and you'll move or credit the $100 from the Tango card advance, and then move it, reconcile it to the study subject payment. So that way, at the end of the fiscal year, we know UNC paid X amount of dollars in study subject payments as part of our ACFR. And also, we know how much money we've done to support research. That's critical. And with that, that is all. Happy to answer any questions.
I have a question for Laura. Someone asked, is there an option to schedule a time when when participants can receive reward links? So can we pre-schedule the delivery of rewards?
Such a great question. Not right now, and it is absolutely on our roadmap. So we hope to have that feature available for y'all in the near future. And I did also see a question, and forgive me if you answered this in the Q&A, Brooke. I saw a question about rewards to minors. Legally, our digital rewards, all of our rewards, need to be sent to recipients who are 13 or older. So I'll let you and your departments kind of discuss how best to handle that for younger recipients.
Yes, so I do have a question. That digital cards do not work for all participants, and there is a physical gift card option that is detailed for you in the manual. So please be sure to read the manual and reach out to us at tango@unc.edu after you've read the manual, and we will help you through that process. Can participants print and email and use in storage? Yes, they can. Participants can print out the certificate and keep that in their purse or wallet and take that with them into their retail stores, and they will type that into the keypad to purchase, to complete their purchase. Can you talk about the MasterCard while I continue reading through these questions? I really want you to talk about the specifics, but the differences between the virtual MasterCard and the physical MasterCard and the fees associated with that.
Great call. With this, when you're using the portal and you're sending those digital rewards, the digital MasterCard is a really fabulous product. It gets incredibly high success ratings, user comfort ratings, can be added right to a mobile wallet. A lot of people that have smartphones are already using mobile wallets, and the digital MasterCard can be added right to that. So if somebody chooses the digital MasterCard from their UNC reward, that's free. It incurs no fees, and it's immediately available for their use. It's usable over the phone. It's usable in many stores. It's usable online, and it's mobile wallet friendly. And I did see someone noted, if somebody is redeeming their digital UNC reward for a MasterCard, they have an option to redeem for a physical MasterCard. This is a plastic mailed reward. So the user will put in their physical address, it will be shipped to them, and a $3 fee is deducted from the reward value itself. The research participant is footing that $3 from the reward amount. Some people much prefer it. We find that a really small percentage of users redeem for the physical card. That's why we will use this alternate method. So for those of you who have to have physical cards, that's when you'll reach out to Brooke and the team. We have an alternate method for you to receive mailed cards. All of this is in the manual, of course. But in terms of the digital MasterCard, I think you'll find that anybody with an email address will have a better experience if they select the digital MasterCard. Tend to just so highly recommend it because it is a much better experience, and the value then is ready for them right away. They won't have to wait to receive something in the mail.
Thank you so much, Lauren.
Thank you.
I have someone who's asking about training. Anyone who wants access to the Tango card portal will need to complete training. We will have some additional training opportunities in the near future, and we are also working with the Finance Service Center of Excellence to create a training that will be available 24/7 that individuals will have to complete before they can access the system. I'm going to continue to reiterate this. This is a very dynamic system. And starting out, it can be a bit complex because it is layered, but I really want to encourage every single person to refer to the prepaid card manual for 2 reasons. The first reason is that we have documented any and everything we can think of. And we've asked you all for questions that have helped us to make sure that we have comprehensive documentation. And in addition, if there are gaps in our documentation, we want you to have read the document so that you can tell us what those gaps are so that we can fill those in. We have gone to great lengths to try to make sure that we are providing you all clear details on what Tango does, what Tango does not do, how much Tango costs, how much Tango does not cost. All of this information is in the Tango card manual. So please make sure you use that as a reference document and that you share that with your departments. But of course, we're always available at tango@unc.edu, but that website and that manual should be the first places you go for information.
So thank you, everybody. I do see that there are some more questions in the Q&A. I think we will get to those. And if there are, we are also looking at holding some kind of office hours for once Tango is up and running, so that you all can come and answer questions rather than only sending emails to the Tango mailbox in the initial phase when we launch Tango for UNC. At this time, it is 12 o'clock. I will have everyone sign off. I can't thank everybody enough for participating and being on our team. And I look forward to making sure that this is one of the few platforms that we will that will help research and research participants, as well as you, the end user, of giving your participants the the payments that they duly receive in a timely fashion. So thank you again, and we are at the end of a phone, text, call, so please don't hesitate to let us know if we can help you in any other way.